Welcome to challenge number 8. So here we go again. Let's take a look at another subtraction problem and let's see how we're going to solve that using some code. So this time our subtraction problem is 20 and 11. So let's create variables for the number 20, the number 11 for difference or diff, and then let's go ahead and run the math operation at 20 minus 11. Now, of course, like I said in the past, you could reverse the order of these numbers so much to challenge your learners and to take a look at the code itself, and that's quite all right. So as long as we're actually creating the variables, the computer will know it will actually run the math operation. So if the result of your math operation is a positive number, the computer will tell you that. If it's a negative number, the computer will also tell you that. So again, looking at it from the pseudocode and the flowchart, let's take a look at what that would be. So the pseudocode is straightforward. We do want to subtract two numbers. We want to create those three variables. We want to run the action element as difference equals num1 minus 2, or diff equals num1 minus num2, and then of course display the difference to the screen. Then in the flow chart, we have the same structure as well. And of course, I want to reinforce the fact that we're using those small arrows to point the flow of direction. And in this case, the flow of direction is rather straightforward. We are using a sequence of events. So we are first displaying something to the screen. We are then going to create the variable, okay? Now, we can do something a little bit different, and I will show you in the code how this would work. But first, let's do it this way. But again, there are certain things that we can learn moving forward that we can change a little bit just to kind of challenge our thinking and challenge your learners. But for the basis of this tutorial, we're going to do it straightforward as it is. So with that being said, let's go ahead and take a look at the code. So I do have a print statement. This program subtracts two numbers. Now what I wanted to say is, what if we did this? Does this change anything? I'm going to cut this out. I'm going to move it over here and I'm going to print it up here. So what I've done is actually declared the variables up front, which is perfectly fine in this case. We can do that. So if you want to start challenging your learners to do something a little bit different, however, based on what we talked about in challenge number 7, I can't print out something I haven't created. So I can't put these print statements, or in the pseudocode and code as display statements, up here. I can't put them before num1 because I haven't created it just yet. It's going to run me an error. Okay, and that's going to be consistent regarding of what programming language you use. You have to create something before you display it. However, what I've done is moved these display elements up here and created my variables first, and that's perfectly okay. We can do that. Now, I will go ahead and display num1 and num2, and then run the math operation and then show the value of the difference. So let's go ahead and run the program and see what happens. Okay, so from the output perspective, nothing has really changed. So based on, if we were to compare this to challenge number 7, the output is just the same. How I structured the code is just a little bit different. Now the code in this particular example, the declaration of the variables is coming first, the print statement is coming second, and then the math operation is coming third. Now you'll notice the way I said that is there is a sequence of events, and that's really critical when you're writing code. You really need to know what comes first, what comes second, and what comes third in order for your code to run correctly. So with that being said, we have a successful code here. I'll see you in challenge number 9.